Kamala Harris, you've probably heard her name. But who is she really? Is she just another politician, or is there more to her story? In this video, we're exploring the life of the first female, Black and South Asian Vice President of the United States. We'll uncover her journey from her early days in California to making history in Washington, D.C. Whether you're familiar with her work or just curious to learn more, stay with us. This is the story of Kamala Harris. Now that we've introduced Kamala Harris, let's take a step back and look at where it all began. To truly understand who she is today, we need to explore her roots and the journey that shaped her. So, let's dive into her early life and education. Kamala Harris was born on October 20th, 1964, in Oakland, California. Have you ever wondered how someone becomes the first female vice president of the United States? Well, for Kamala, it all started with an incredible family background. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was a groundbreaking biologist who moved to the US from India in 1958. Imagine moving halfway across the world to study at UC Berkeley and then going on to make huge strides in breast cancer research. That's exactly what Shyamala did. Kamala's father, Donald J. Harris, came to the US from Jamaica in 1961 to study economics at UC Berkeley. He didn't just study, he excelled, becoming the first black scholar to earn tenure at Stanford University's economics department. Talk about setting the bar high. Kamala's early life was filled with the influences of academia and activism. Growing up in college towns across the settling in California, she was surrounded by discussions on justice, equality, and social change. When Kamala was 7, her parents divorced, and she, along with her younger sister Maya, was raised by their mother in a community of African-American intellectuals and activists in Oakland and Berkeley. Imagine the dinner table conversations. In 1976, when Kamala was just 12, her mother took a research position at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, and the family made the move north. Kamala attended Westmount High School in Montreal, graduating in 1981. But her journey didn't stop there. She headed to Howard University in Washington, D.C., a historically black university that played a huge role in shaping her identity and ambitions. At Howard, Kamala majored in political science and economics, 2 fields that would define her career. After Howard, she didn't slow down. Kamala went on to earn her law degree from UC Hastings, where she was active in the Black Law Students Association. By 1989, she had her Juris Doctor in hand, ready to take on the world. As we know now, she did just that. Harris began her legal career in 1990, stepping into the world of law as a deputy district attorney in Alameda County, California. It was here that she earned a reputation as an able prosecutor on the way up, but her career wasn't just about climbing the ladder. Harris was making real impacts, particularly in how justice was served. In 1998, she moved on to the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, where her role took a significant turn. As the chief of the Career Criminal Division, she was not just a prosecutor, she was a leader. Harris managed a team of attorneys handling some of the toughest cases, including homicides, burglaries, and sexual assaults. She wasn't just fighting for convictions, she was setting the tone for how serious crimes were handled in San Francisco. And she did it with a focus on reform, pushing for higher bail in gun-related cases to curb the crime rate. But Harris's ambition didn't stop there. In 2002, she ran for District Attorney of San Francisco, determined to bring about change from the top. Her campaign was bold, challenging the status quo, and it paid off. Harris won the election with 56% of the vote, making history as the first person of colour to be elected to this position in San Francisco. Once in office, she didn't waste time. Within just 6 months, she put 27 of the 74 backlogged homicide cases, a move that showed her commitment to justice. But Harris also made it clear where she stood on controversial issues. She pledged not to seek the death penalty, a promise she kept even in high-profile cases like the murder of San Francisco police officer Espinosa in 2004. Harris wasn't just tough on crime, she was also forward-thinking. She established a hate crimes unit focused on protecting LGBT youth in schools, and she pushed for laws like the Justice for Victims Act to ensure hate crimes were properly addressed. Her tenure also saw the creation of an environmental crimes unit, the San Francisco Reentry Division, which helped reduce recidivism rates among drug offenders. One of her most significant initiatives was tackling truancy in San Francisco's schools. Harris recognised that chronic truancy was linked to higher crime rates and dropout rates, so she led a citywide effort to keep kids in school. She even took the bold step of prosecuting parents whose children missed excessive days of school, making it clear that education was a priority for her administration. Kamala Harris made history as California's Attorney General from 2011 to 2017, being the first African-American and South Asian American in the role. During her time in office, she tackled some pretty big challenges. One of the biggest moves she made was during the national mortgage settlement in 2012. At a time when the housing crisis was hitting Californians hard, Harris stood firm against big banks. She rejected an initial deal that she felt was too lenient and fought for a better settlement that ultimately brought $20 billion in relief to California homeowners. This was a major win, especially for those struggling to keep their homes. And it didn't stop there. Harris used the momentum to push through the Homeowner Bill of Rights, which set up new protections against wrongful foreclosures. Harris also took on powerful companies, whether it was tech giants or big oil. She wasn't afraid to go after them when they crossed the line. One notable case was her fight against predatory for-profit colleges, where she secured a significant settlement that helped thousands of students who were misled by these institutions. Her work in this area showed her determination to protect consumers, especially those who were vulnerable. In criminal justice, Harris introduced some forward-thinking reforms. She worked on improving DNA testing, which helped clear cold cases and put criminals behind bars. She also made strides in police training, addressing issues implicit bias and pushing for more transparency in how police shootings were handled. But Harris's time as Attorney General wasn't without its challenges. She faced criticism, particularly when her office was accused of not doing enough in certain wrongful conviction cases. There was also controversy surrounding her decision to prosecute One West Bank for foreclosure violations, which some linked to campaign donations from Stephen Mnuchin, the bank's former owner. Another defining moment was her stance on Proposition 8, which bans same-sex marriage in California. Instead of defending the ban, Harris chose to fight it, which played a key role in its eventual overturn. She also supported legislation that banned the use of the gay and trans in court, a move that showed her commitment to LGBTQ rights. Harris stepped into her role as Vice President on January 20th, 2021, making history as the first female African-American and Asian-American to hold this position. Right from the start, she was deeply involved in the administration's key decisions and responsibilities. During her inauguration, Harris made a powerful statement by choosing to be sworn in using two Bibles, one from a family friend and the other belonging to Thurgood Marshall, a trailblazing Supreme Court justice she admires. The significance of that moment ceremony, it set the tone for her approach to her role as Vice President. In her first act as VP, she swore in 3 new senators, including her own successor, Alex Padilla. This was just the beginning of her active role in the Senate, especially given the 5-0-5-0 split between Democrats and Republicans. Harris's vote became the tiebreaker in situations, such as passing the American Rescue Plan in early 2021, which brought much-needed relief to Americans during the pandemic. Harris broke records with her tie-breaking votes, surpassing even historical figures like John Adams and John C. Calhoun. By the end of 2023, she had cast more tie-breaking votes than any other vice president in U.S. history. One unique moment in her tenure was when she briefly assumed the powers of the presidency, while Joe Biden underwent a routine medical procedure in November 2021. It was a short period, just an hour and 25 minutes, but it marked the first time a woman held presidential power, even temporarily. Harris also took on significant responsibilities in foreign policy. She was tasked with addressing the root causes of migration from Central America, which led her to meet with leaders from Mexico and Guatemala. Her message to potential migrants do not come was clear and direct, highlighting the dangers of the journey and the need for legal processes. Her role expanded further when the US withdrew from Afghanistan and during the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Harris was front and center in rallying international support for Ukraine and imposing sanctions on Russia. She also worked to strengthen alliances such as with France after a submarine deal fallout and with South Korea in space exploration. In speeches and public appearances, Harris continued to break barriers. She was the first woman to deliver commencement addresses at the US Naval Academy and West Point, inspiring the next generation of leaders. Harris's time as Vice President has been quite eventful, with a lot of changes and challenges. Her office has seen high staff turnover, including the departure of key figures like her Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, Press Secretary, and others. Critics point to this turnover as a sign of dysfunction and low morale within her team. Axios reports that some of these departures stem from the intense demands of the transition into the new administration, along with financial factors. Harris's approval ratings have been another point of discussion. As of August 2024, she holds one of the lowest approval ratings for a vice president, with 44.3% of registered voters viewing her positively, 50.2% unfavourably, according to Real Clear Politics. A video clip from 2023 where Harris said, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you went viral in 2024.
Think you just fell out of a coconut tree?"
This clip, along with other remarks, has been widely shared as memes, shaping how the public sees her. Her distinctive laughter has also captured media attention. Harris says she got her laugh from her mother, making it a personal and memorable trait. In a major political shift, on July 21st, 2024, President Joe Biden suspended his re-election campaign and endorsed Harris as the Democratic nominee for the 2024 presidential election. Her campaign quickly picked up momentum, raising a record-breaking $81 million in small dollar donations within the first 24 hours. By August 5th, 2024, she officially clinched the nomination and announced Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her vice presidential running mate. Looking ahead, if elected, Harris would make history as the first female, first Asian American, and second African American president of the United States. Harris linked romantically with then Speaker of the California Assembly, Willie Brown. Their relationship was notable, partly due to Brown's political prominence and Harris's rising career. In 2001, she briefly dated talk show host Montel Williams, adding another notable name to her personal history. However, Harris found lasting love with attorney Doug Emhoff. They met in 2013 through a mutual friend who set them up on a blind date. Emhoff, who was born into a Jewish family, had a successful career as an entertainment lawyer before becoming a partner at Venable LLP's Los Angeles office. The couple's relationship quickly blossomed, leading to their marriage on August 22nd, 2014, in a beautiful ceremony in Santa Barbara, California. As the second gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff brings his own unique flair to the role. Harris is also a stepmother to Emhoff's two children from his previous marriage to film producer Kirsten Emhoff. Cole and Ella Emhoff have made their own names in various fields, contributing to the dynamic and public-oriented Emhoff family. Finally, let's hear some spicy details about her wealth. By August 2019, Harris and Emhoff had an estimated net worth of $6 million. Their financial status reflects their successful careers in law and public service, positioning them comfortably among prominent American families. Whether it's her groundbreaking role or her life with Doug Emhoff, Kamala's story is anything but ordinary. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let us know what you think in the comments. Catch you next time.